I'm a member of the East Texas Balloon Club Board of Directors, and we are working toward community outreach and just the different things that can push the ballooning community to a new level, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow it. We'd like to get youth involved. We'd like to be able to get anybody involved who is just interested in the ballooning. When you get a balloon, I mean, it's just exciting. It's a really cool it's a cool thing to see, especially when you walk up on one or you come on one. It's kind of, and you're not ready for it. But then at the same time, those people who can get involved with the club and they see what we're doing, we'll send out a remind pretty much on a Friday evening before we go to do a flight, typically on a Saturday or maybe a Sunday. We'll send out a remind, and the remind is similar to what you get from your local schools. They use the Remind app. We use it for a crew call, so that everybody can say, oh, we're supposed to meet at 6:45 at the butcher shop or 6:45 at Nanny Goats over, and we'll have 30 people show up, and right there we'll determine where we're going to go to launch our balloons. Everybody leaves their cars in the parking lot. They jump in an individual balloon. They go with us. To wherever we're going to launch, and that's all determined by the winds. They'll help me. They'll help each of the pilots get the balloons out, get everything set up, and the pilots will fly away. Sometimes they'll take some of those crew members with them, and just kind of keeping the interest in place. We'll do the flight. The crew will go ahead and pack everything up, jump back in the truck, and then they'll chase us. They'll follow us to wherever we're going to land. And once we land, they'll catch us. They'll help us pull everything down, get all the equipment packed away, put it in the truck, and then we'll go back to whatever restaurant was that we started at, and we'll have breakfast. And we're typically done before 9:30 in the morning. So I've been doing it for pretty much for 20 years. My wife would get involved with the Great Texas Balloon Race. She would go ahead and she'd grab the kids in the morning and put them in their car seats, and they would take off, and they just go find wherever the balloons are launching. Once they'd done that, the girls became teenagers, and we had a local pilot who he would just make one phone call. If we were available, all four of us would go out there. He'd have all the people he needed to do the crew, and we'd go fly with them. And then once we were pretty entrenched in that and in the community itself. My youngest daughter, Lillian, said, hey, I would like to learn how to fly a balloon. And that was 2018. And my wife went out and bought a balloon. And kind of the rest is history. So, we had one of the other guys who was here, Bill Adler. He was our instructor, taught us how to fly. So he taught Lillian, he taught me. And it's kind of the rest of that's just history. So as the club has gone, the big thing that we're looking at with the club is we're trying to grow, especially the crew, because I mean it's hard to fly a balloon without enough people to do it. And from our standpoint, it was a family event. It was something that the whole family came together and we made it happen. There's other ways that you can fly, and they're not so much a family event. I mean, you could do it by yourself if you're doing a paragliding or if you're going in an airplane. So it's something our whole family's gotten involved in, and that's what we've been interested in.
So for you, it seems like this is a family thing. This is a connection-based thing.
Yep.
And for, you said your daughter.
Yep.
So for those people interested in ballooning, why should they get into it? What is unique and special about what you do?
There's no flight that's the same. I mean, no matter what. I mean, we have some local common launch points that we will launch from. And I mean, it all depends on what the winds are. But no flight, whether we take off at the same location, it's never the same. It's a new experience every time. There's always new things that are going to happen. I mean, sure, you have little gotchas that you have to watch out for, but I mean, the big thing you're dealing with is safety. I mean, everything we do, I mean, we're working toward a safe environment, safe way of playing. I mean, any sport you do, there's an element of danger to it. I mean, and you have to be safe in whatever you're doing. The biggest thing around here that you have issues with, power lines and trees. And I mean, you've got to know what you're doing on when you're flying. So,
so in the board, it talked about the safety seminar.
Yeah.
Coming out. You know, what are some of the things that are discussed? You kind of touched on power lines and weather
Yep.
permitting things.
Things you'll deal with in our power. Okay. The things you'll deal with in the safety seminar, I mean, it'll be everything from power. One of the big things you want to make sure of is that you don't want to have power line strikes. But if something like that happens, what do you do? And that's something that our crew members need to understand. I mean, you need to understand. It is a thing. It's something that could happen. And I mean, if a power line strike happens, it would be the same as if there was a power line strike for anything else. I mean, there's been things like that happen here in the East Texas area. I mean, out on Lake of the Pines, I think they had a problem out there once. I mean, if you have a power line strike, what do you do? And I mean, you have to understand what the safe response is to that, who you need to call, who you need to talk to. So I mean, you've got that kind of thing that you're talking with in safety, wind. How you determine when the wind and when the weather is safe to be able to make your flight, and who you need to contact if you're in the particular airspace. Say we're in the airspace for Gregg County Airport. You need to understand that you need to contact the tower. You need to tell them what you're doing if you're going to be in their airspace, and you have to understand how that's going to happen. And so I mean, there's lots of individual items and issues that you discuss in those safety seminars, and so that's
For a very good cause.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's probably what being certified as a pilot.
There's a lot that goes into it, and I mean, when you're dealing with when you're looking at your pilot certificate for a balloon, I wouldn't say it's any harder or easier than getting your fixed wing or anything, but I mean, you still have that certain level of, I mean, you have to study, you have to understand what you're doing, and I mean, one added complication is when you're dealing with a hot air balloon, if you can't set the balloon up because the wind on the ground is high, then you can't fly that morning. So you have to find the days that you can do the flights, and you can't do that as easily as you could in a fixed wing airplane, because an airplane can handle the winds easier than a balloon. So